Now, finally, I have to tell you, this is one of my favorite people that I've met probably in the last 5 years of my life. If you're not familiar with who this is, I'm glad you're going to be watching today because this is Ginny Burton, formerly drug addicted, multiple felony convictions, served, I think she said, 3 prison terms, um, had a really rough start in life, like so many people who end up on that path and end up behind bars themselves, had a rough upbringing. Maybe a family member themselves was incarcerated or drug addicted. And it seems like it's a really difficult thing to shake if you don't have the right influence or somebody to kind of yank you out of that. For her, it took that third prison sentence and time behind bars where she finally said, enough. I'm going to clean myself up. I'm going to turn my life around. I'm going to get educated. And that's what she did while she was still behind bars. And once out, she went to the University of Washington to get her law degree. And she's now building something inside the Washington Department of Corrections. They see it's working. And she's specifically at the Forks Correctional Facility, where she has an ongoing program working with incarcerated men while they're still behind bars. And her success rate cannot be refuted, really. It is an abstinence-based reentry program run by someone who came from inside the population it serves, focused, she says, entirely on self-sufficiency and staying out of prison for good. Here is part of my conversation today with Ginny Burton, talking about how everything changed for her after one decision that she made in her life.
Coming out of all of that at the age of 40, the last time I was facing a prison sentence, I made the decision to change my own life. And then I developed a process to infiltrate the system, to influence the lives of the people who are just like me. And I have given my blood, sweat, and tears to perpetuate that kind of intervention. And it has been very effective in the lives of the people that I serve. I'm inside of the Department of Corrections. And out of the 55 people who have been released, which is currently a small sample size, but it's how you get up a mountain, right? One step at a time, one person at a time. Only one of our guys has reoffended. The over 87% are practicing abstinence-based recovery. That means no medication-assisted treatment, no dependence on social services, because they've learned to become the strongest version of themselves. They practice service, so they give of their time freely. They're educated, they're employed, they're reunifying with their kids, they're all stably housed, and that's really what I think we perceive that systems are supposed to do.
So, out of 170 incarcerated men who have gone through her program to basically get a complete shift of what's possible in their life, 55 of those men have been released, and all but one are still on a successful path. And I would argue, even the one who ended up back behind bars reached back out again to Ginny and said, I screwed up. Used again. I'm back behind bars. I want back in your program. And she said, now this man, the one failure of the 55 graduates, is actually going to be a huge advocate while still behind bars to get others enrolled in the program. So look at this from the Out Impact website, and it's out hyphen UT. So O hyphen UT, their website, which you just heard Ginny detailing. 54 of 55 released graduates have not returned to prison. If they remain out for 3 years, that represents 10.3 million in avoided incarceration costs at Washington State's documented rate of $63,626 per person per year. The total program cost to serve all 55 people was only $247,500. Costs about $4,500 to put these gentlemen through a 6-month program and then some of the continuing support services once they are, out of prison. But they're all housed, they're all clean, they're all employed, many of them back with the children that they ended up abandoning through their oftentimes, drug addiction and then life of crime and eventually incarceration. Again, $4,500 versus the cost of incarcerating someone at more than 63,000 might be worth the state spending a little bit more time looking into this kind of a success rate. But it was back in June of last year, so just over a year ago, Ginny's program lost a contract and then transitioned. That was through the Department of Corrections, and they transitioned to a 501(c)(3). But now she's on a mission that she'll literally start walking out later this month. The goal is to raise $250,000 over the second half of this month, if you will. She's going to set out on July the 19th at Cedar Falls Trailhead in North Bend and finish up July 31st at Riverfront Park in Spokane. So it's more than 300 miles to bring attention to this. She's hoping to get donations, whether it's per mile. She's got some folks that have already signed up to walk certain, stretches, certain days of that. She told me today she's got two new pairs of tennis shoes that she's now working to sort of break in, if you will. This is the second time she's done something like this after the death of her son, who died of a fentanyl overdose after being released from prison. She set out on one of these walks. So, again, this goal is to raise the $250,000. Why? Well, because that amount is what it costs to put these 55 graduates through the program and into successful release. And that's not to pay her. She hasn't taken an income for over a year now, been operating off of some donations from folks who believe in what she's doing. But I'm going to share a little bit more about her in the days and weeks to come, leading up to when she ventures out on that walk, starting again July 19th at Cedar Falls Trailhead in North Bend. She welcomes even critics. She says, "Come with me, walk with me. Tell me why you think I'm crazy and why it doesn't work and why you would never believe an ex-con or an ex-drug addict." She's like, "Come along and join me on this mission." So I would encourage you to check out the website at outimpact.org/walk. So outimpact.org/walk. And yeah, check out her story. It's remarkable. She has some videos up on that website too of some of the men who have successfully completed the program and really transformed their lives at literally a tiny fraction of the cost what we're spending to incarcerate people and not invest in them to really turn their lives around. So that is a wrap on today's episode of Washington in Focus Daily for this Tuesday, July the 7th. I hope you enjoyed the show and join us again on Wednesday. Have a great day.